Hello YouTube, this is Hunter Surge. We are here once again with more Moonrise reveals. We have a couple things from that are like a bit more than Moonrise that got unveiled today, in the last day. So let's get into it. So first up, we're going to be looking at A-Drive's stream of the casual webcam tournament because he played a Fulgurex deck with a bunch of Moonrise cards. This card on the screen we have right now is a new card that was shown off in the process of that. It is Pulveroar, which I believe is a 2/2, 1 Spirit Lunar. So obviously it's a lunar form of Pulveroar Tide, I believe it is, from Daybreak. And the effect, as he explains it, is that when it enters battle with an Elestral, it gives that Elestral -2 attack and -2 defense for each Lunar Spirit enchanting this Pulveroar. Which is like pretty solid. Its stats are like really bad, but like if you can shore up those stats like at all, that ability becomes pretty potent. Like you get Temple of the Moon up, and it starts being, hey, I'm going to beat over any 5, or if you can like Nexus onto it, then it becomes effectively a 6 on both ends, which is really powerful. So like there's some solid stuff with this card. I could see this card being super solid. Yeah, it's a thing to keep an eye on, because like baseline, it's like a decent 4/4 on both ends, and then get another spirit on it, and it becomes a 6/6, and at that point it becomes really annoying to deal with. It has the weakness to suppression that a lot of cards like this do, but it's still like pretty solid. Then the other thing from this video from this stream is at the end, he opened up a pack of Tournament Pack 2. So this will be releasing alongside Moonrise, of course. Actually might be coming out a bit earlier because the season 1 ends December 28th, and Moonrise does not actually come out until January 17th. So we might have this tournament pack a few weeks before we actually have Moonrise. Regardless, first I want to talk about the cover art. This is we have seen this art before in the Clash trailer. Let me pull it up. In the Clash trailer, I pointed this out when we talked about that, but we can see this full art Ambrosia with this same art on it. So what that says to me, given what happened with the previous tournament packs cover card, is that we are getting the Ambrosia full art as one of the full art slots in Moonrise, and then in the tournament pack 2, that Ambrosia will be an X out of 10 serialized stellar, which is really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, that's gonna be a huge chase card. Wow, Ambrosia. Yeah. Okay. Now let's get into the content of this pack. Let's speed this up a bit. So first up, we have this Glimbat Altar. Glimbat isn't like the most exciting card to see in here because the card's like really bad. It's not good at all. But it's all right. It's only one of 12 slots. There's always going to be some sneakers in there. We have a banned card in our current one. Then we have a brand new card that we have not seen yet out of Moonrise, assumingly. This is Kokore. This is clearly a solar nexus form of Cockatoodle, which is a wind 2-stage ascension line from Frostfall. So Kokore is a 4/1, cannot be suppressed, which is very cool because it's a special ascender. The main way you stop special ascenders is you suppress them, and this thing can't be suppressed, and it has a solid stat line. So like this is like a very impressive card right out the gate. When you activate First Light, you can special ascend this Kokore into Draco Ray from your hand or deck. And honestly, I would be very unsurprised if this is actually a 3-stage ascension line, unlike the original Wind line, and the top end is a Dragalis that solar fire that was revealed in MBT's creator box. Yeah, this scene, we of course need to see Draco Ray to get like the full context of this card, but like First Light is a solid enough card. It's not super great, but like it's solid enough. And this has a decent stat line, and cannot be suppressed, and it's a special ascender. So as long as Draco Ray has like solid enough stats, this will probably be a pretty decent card. And like being a more offensively statted Solar card is actually a huge deal because so much of Solar either has just garbage stats or it has okay stats, but they're defensively slanted. Like think Plucky, think Jatagra, think Dratara, whatever it is. The solar heal 2 guy. Think Corvashine, think Soulbow, all those things. Like there's so many defensively statted solar Elestrals. So more offensively statted ones is a very, very big deal, especially when it's like as potentially powerful as this card could be, because like it's just completely immune to the main mechanism through which you would stop. Actually, no. Now that I'm thinking about this more, it can't be suppressed, but Gorgon's Gaze still just negates the effect, right? And also stops it from ascending. Makes ascending an illegal action for that Elestral. So Gorgon's Gaze does in fact still stop this. So like, actually that line doesn't really do anything. All that line does is it goes, you can't preempt, you can't stop this with Dense Fog as well, but you can still Gorgon's Gaze this? That's unfortunate. But still an offensively statted special sender, so it's like, it's still solid enough, especially if Draco Ray is any good. So, you know, it's still okay. It's still like a good card for Solar to be seeing. And then, let us see the Stellar slot. It is Theraheart. Theraheart's a really good card, so it having, this is a reverse Stellar slot, right? Yeah, there's no out of 99 there. So this being a reverse, no, it's not reverse Stellar in these. It is normal Stellar, just not serialized. But having a Stellar Theraheart with some pretty cool art I'm liking, with the horns locked and everything. I like this art, and I'm glad to see like a cool foil Stellar version of Theraheart in these tournament packs, because that card is really, really powerful. Alright, and that's it for this stream. So let us get into the official reveals. We are back to Lunar stuff in today's video. MBT also did put out a short that revealed a new card, but that card is also revealed in this video. So we'll just talk about it here. Yeah. So first up, we have a reveal for the promo pack for the Kickstarter. Is a Stellar Night Venom. This was initially said to be that will be a serialized Stellar, randomly inserted into the promo packs. However, A-Drive has said since then that they had not put any of this stuff to production, and considering people are not really a fan of that concept, they are walking it back and are just going to go, okay, Night Venom is just going to be a non-serialized Stellar. It's going to be in every promo pack. So every promo pack is going to have this Night Venom. That's pretty cool. Then we have Havocub. We've seen this before in the Clash trailer. It is a 4/3 1 Lunar Spirit Elestral. That its possession cannot be changed by opponent's card effect, so it's immune to Eddy, it's immune to Mudlet, it's immune to Alter, it's immune to Tsunami, which is pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing to have on a card, but I don't think like it's something that's like necessarily good enough to fit in a deck. I don't know. Maybe if like you really, really, really need to be beating position changing, that's fine. But like it's not like this is going to carry over into your Ascensions or it's going to protect anything else on your field. It's ultimately just a 4/3. It's not that threatening. People will be able to get over this without position changing, especially Thunder and Earth. So, you know, I don't think this card's that big of a deal. But like it's a cool little effect to have in the game. Then we have Pulveroar. This card is the card that MBT revealed in his short. And this card's crazy. This card's insane. So Pulveroar is a two Lunar Spirit Elestral, 7/4, same stats as Cryovern. This Pulveroar in your hand can special send from your Lunar Elestral if you also disenchant Lunar from your field. So you need a Nexus Bank of some kind to be able to use this. However, in that context, this card is just crazy. It's just like a solidly statted 2 cost that you can just slap down whenever by paying 3 total. Like you pay 1 extra. Like it's basically what we're looking at is this is Tadpuff, but it's on the 2 stat. It's on the 2 cost body instead of the 1 cost body, and that's way better. Because it means because Tadpuff is like, okay, this card on its own is pretty worthless. We need to see the specific 2 costs we're trying to accelerate into in order for it to actually end up being useful. But this, we just special send it over any Lunar Elestral. So it just pairs with all of our good 1 costs. All our 1 costs remain good, and we just have this guy that, like, whenever the situation calls for it, we can just slap it down. Very, very, very nice. Another really nice thing about this is it makes any, like, Artemis-based deck, because that's probably the primary place where you're going to see this, because you need extra Lunar Spirits on your field to be able to disenchant. But anytime you do that, you are going to be able to bypass PTA, because whenever you play a 1 cost, if your opponent decides they want to PTA that, they flip up PTA, and you can go, okay, I'm going to special ascend Pulveroar over that Elestral, and now PTA has lost its target and will not be able to remove anything in the end phase, which will inherently make Artemis-based decks really, really powerful. And like these decks were already going to be fairly resilient to counter runes because of Theraheart existing, and this just gives them more of that element. It's just a very, very powerful card. There's also stuff you can do where if you like special cast out an Ectoplasm or a Gloombat, you can special send into this and then normal send into like a 3 cost like Ferrogeist. But I'm not going to focus so much on that because like we haven't seen much in terms of enablers for Ectoplasm yet. And more importantly, on the Gloombat side, the Gloombat stuff isn't going to be reliable. Let's just shift over to Gloombat real quick because it's this is Gloombat's normal art. Pretty nice. I like the full moon in the background and everything. It looks real nice. But what people really need to realize is that the Gloombat special ascension stuff isn't going to be reliable. People are just setting willy-nilly right now, right? Because there's no punishment for that. But come this set, there's going to be not just Gloombat punishing that, but there's also going to be Hurricane punishing that. And like people are just going to adjust how they play. People are going to be very wary about setting multiple. And if they're not setting multiple, then Gloombat is never going to be able to special ascend, special cast itself, and get you into your ascends quicker. Like you need to be very aware of that when theorizing anything regarding Gloombat. That it is very unlikely to be reliable as a tool to accelerate out your ascensions. But it's still a solid card. Just having this tool in Archetype that can just go, okay, I'm going to use my normal cast to just remove your Divine, remove your Stadium, whatever, is just very, very nice to have in this element. Then we have the Ascension of Gloombat. This is a holo rare, Phasmacore. This card's super spooky. So this is an 8/1, 2 Lunar Spirit Elestral. When this Phasmacore is destroyed in battle or by an opponent's card effect, you can expend a Lunar. If you do, during this turn's end phase, you can special cast it from your underworld. So it is basically like is an Ampharex with a real body. Which is pretty cool. You're going to be paying 3 every time you do this, so it is like fairly expensive. But like it's a pretty neat card. It's like I don't think it's gonna be turbo busted because like it's one of those cards that like it does get answered by literally a card in every single deck. Gorgon's Gaze. If they Gorgon's Gaze this before running over it or destroying it with an effect, it's not going to work. It also dies to Lunar Phase New Moon, because Lunar Phase New Moon suppresses the thing before it destroys it. And a Rhino Sect will also always just permanently kill it because it will be suppressed by the Rhinymph. So that's just like a few like almost certainly going to be relevant ways this gets answered. Achilles, Shield of Achilles also answers it, of course. We saw a bot decker. What was the thing that bot decked? What was the thing that bot decked? We saw something that bot decked. What was the there was some like 3 cost I recall being revealed this set that like bot decked force removal. Was that the Nobby Final Ascension? Let me check. I'm gonna check real quick. Was that Fulgurix? I think that might have been Fulgurix. Yes. When Fulgurix receives Lunar or Wind in a Nexus, you can target an opponent's card and put it on the bottom of their deck. So that'll answer it as well. Basically, Lunar as a whole is going to answer this no problem. Because, like, the Artemis deck is going to go suppress this before running over it. Or, God forbid, they already have post moves out and they're going to go suppress it and then also pop it. Like, they all have access to Artemis. The Lunar Phase deck is, in addition to having New Moon to suppress and destroy it, will also be able to bounce it with whatever it's called. But like this is a card that could be like super strong in like sideboards, for example. Because if you run into a matchup that's going to have more difficulty dealing with it, then it becomes really powerful. But like it's hard to I find that a bit hard to justify as a sideboard tool because like ultimately every deck is going to have Gorgon's Gaze. Especially with a whole color of special ascenders coming into the format. So I don't know. It's an alright card. It's okay. It's alright. I'm not a huge fan of it. Because it has like a bunch of weaknesses, but it has a lot of potential power. That one defense is like a knock against it too, because it means like any deck with like position changers is going to have like an easy time running over it time and time again. And then they're just making you pay 3 every turn. And that's really not ideal. But you know, there's stuff here. This card could be really powerful. But like on first read, this reads like the most broken thing on the universe. So I don't blame anyone for like freaking out on first sight of this card. But I do think it has like a notable number of weaknesses that are going to be exploited. But I would not surprised to see it find some success too. Because like it is still like you've got to have this answer or this is going to be a menace for the whole game type of card. And it is an 8 stat. Like it is an 8 attack. It's going to be beating over like everything. But yeah. And then it's getting a full art Phasmacore. So it is the other perspective of the Nova Core full art, which is pretty cool. That's pretty neat. And is there anything else? Oh, right. We also have one of the Serialized Stellars for this set, which is Gloombat, which is pretty cool. That's pretty neat. Gloombat is like a really good card, so that's really cool to see it getting a Serialized Stellar. That's a good card to be receiving a Serialized Stellar. But that's all of the reveals for today. I'm really impressed by Pulveroar, whatever it's called. Pulveroar. Yeah, Pulveroar. Pulveroar I'm really impressed by. I think that's going to be a really good card. Its ability to bypass PTA and just go, okay, I'm going to beat over your 5 now. Are just really strong elements of the card. Very impressed by that card. I think it's going to be very good. And yeah, that's going to be it for today. I'll see you guys later. This is Hunter Surge, signing off.